to see whether or not the participants are capable of doing the rest of the illusion. Is that fair?
It's certain tests to make sure they can walk over things, being able to navigate kind of some twists and turns. I can show you where they are if you like. Yes.
Okay. So is it also true that you also say, and I think you stated in your testimony, that this, and I think you tell the audience this, that it's clear 20 feet all around. Is that correct? There's nothing, there's no hiding, there's nothing going on. You can see 20 feet all around, nothing going on. Is that also true?
That is a theatrical expression. I'm not sure. I never really measured the 20 feet behind.
I'm not going to prove to you that it's 18
okay.
or 22.
So what's your question?
Yeah, that's. Am I correct that you say that?
Say what? Again.
That it's clear 20 feet all around, and there's nothing here. In other words, telling the audience that you're not hiding anything.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. The 20 feet is...
I wouldn't say clear. There's 20 feet to the back curtain.
Okay.
The idea is 20 feet to the back, showing the space around it.
So here's the thing. Huh? Okay. You have to bring it.
I got it.
Should we turn the lights on?
Nah, it's okay. You don't need it. I need just the audio thing. So you hear what it's...
Should we just say that it's now you're playing exhibit?
Now I'm playing the same exhibit. Just so you can hear what he says. I hope I got this spot right. Oh, great. Okay, go back. I need some volume. Jennifer, do I need to do something to get some volume?
Just to plug in the audio cable.
I did do that. Not getting any sound.
That's on its way out.
Oh, that needs to be plugged in. There you go, Bob. Thank you. Always have to plug in both sides, I guess, huh? Still nothing.
So far, a silent movie.
No sound.
Is the sound on the television?
It's the Buster Keaton version of the illusion.
You never use sound up here, Jennifer. That's what we've been told.
About the sound of the TV. I'm sure that's what it's just.
Oh, there we go. What's that?
All around the platform, underneath it, above and around it, 20 feet in every direction. He's totally out in the open. We have nothing. Everyone stay in line. Stay in line and follow me. Stay in line and follow me. Follow me. You can see all around the platform, underneath it, above and around it, 20 feet in every direction. It's totally out in the open. We have nothing to hide.
Okay. Now you do say, do you not, 20 feet in every direction, correct? Okay?
Yes.
You heard it yourself.
I did.
And you have nothing to hide. Just saying that there is nothing around there, nothing to hide, nothing to worry about. True? I mean, that's what you said. So.
It's referring to something different. Yes.
Okay, and you're saying that it's not really true that it's 20 feet all around, that it's a theatrical expression.
I'm saying
Just yes or no. I know
Not a yes or no question, sorry.
Okay, but it's a theatrical expression, or is it true that there's nothing?
It's referring to the curtains and the boundaries, not referring to the stuff they have to navigate around. I'm referring to the space
So now,
up to the boundaries.
we look at this, so Adam, well, we could, I guess we might as well play it at this point. Well, give me the still shot.
Here's the still shot, right?
Okay. But I want to see
The path that they take.
yeah.
They go like this, and then they go that way. Is that right?
The path.
You're both asking me questions? I don't know.
No, I'm asking you the question. Is this the path that they take?
So far, can I stand up?
Sure. You show us the path.
Well, can you play it? Because I'm not sure which way we go, to be honest.
Okay,
Tell me yours.
play it. And you can show us in the meantime. What you say is not that important right now, it's just
No, yeah.
really for the video.
I agree.
Okay?
Yep. Play.
Sorry.
Underneath and above and around it,
So we're going around this light here.
Right.
There's small lights on the floor. Some cables this way. We're stepping over cables here. There's a black thing here. Some dark objects there. And they're going around. And over here is a very tight squeeze right there around that pole. And there's a light over here on the floor.
When we're watching these people walk, it doesn't look like they're tight squeezing or anything. It looks like they're just walking regularly.
They're doing pretty good.
Yeah, none of them really had a problem in this particular night.
They did a good job.
Right. Do you sometimes have problems where people are walking around and they're tripping?
Well, sometimes we see people.
Just yes or no. Do you sometimes see people walking around there and they're tripping? That's my only question.
I haven't seen tripping. I've
Okay.
seen navigating.
Okay. Okay. Now. We need Adam, we need a number for ID.
I don't know what number we're up to. Alex, what number we're up to?
Well, you're on 103.
103 for ID? Okay. May I show the witness, Your Honor?
Wait,
Show the
you-
defendant.
Oh, show us. You're just showing.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
I'm just showing you 103 for ID. Okay. Now, is that a photocopy? Well, you look at it, and why don't you tell us what that is,
Picture of me, 8 by 10.
okay? And is that picture of you, is this signed by you?
Looks like it.
Okay. And is that the picture or the photo that you give out at the end of the 13 illusion to the participants?
It could have been. We've had a few different kinds. So
Okay. It's one of them.
it's one. Could have
Okay.
could have been. I'm not sure.
Are the photos different now?
They are now.
Okay.
I got older.
Okay. You don't keep giving out the young photos?
It's still a little young, but it's not quite as young as this.
Okay. You within reason.
It's within.
Within reason.
Sorry.
I know the feeling. Anyway, so that particular photo, let me just ask you a couple of questions. I'm going to move the photo into evidence, Your Honor, if I can.
No objection for me.
Objection.
Okay.
Let me just.
Yeah.
Any idea?
This thing does a lot of searching. A lot of searching going on.
May I publish it, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yeah, what if, yeah, you might as well just pass it instead of
That makes sense.
start walking.
It's good lighting. A little Photoshop.
Thank you. Now, did you ever hear the name Tara Lynn Anderson?
Not
Does
that I-
that name ring a bell to you?
Not that I recall.
Okay. Do you recall someone falling and getting injured at the MGM Grand in 2004? Her name was Tara. You remember that?
No, I don't recall that happening.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. And please correct me if I'm getting this wrong, okay? Am I correct that your testimony in this case so far has been that you don't recall anyone ever falling during the illusion? Now, I'm making this clear that I'm talking about two different things now, okay? I'm talking about falling, and then I'm going to talk about falling and getting injured. Fair enough?
Absolutely.
So that I'm not trying to surprise you with anything, okay? Am I correct that your testimony in this case so far has been that you don't recall or you don't know, which I think are two different things, but, all right, anyone ever falling during the illusion? Is that a correct statement?
My testimony's been that I don't recall anyone getting injured.
Okay. Now, can we have... Huh? Wait a second. Did you know it? Cheating.
I got it.
One thing at a time.
Except for a year later, finding out Mr. Cox got injured, obviously.
I'm not talking about Mr. Cox,
This is page 40.
and I'm not trying to trick you. No pun intended.
Now someone gets it. This is page 40. The trial transcript, April 24th, 2018, page 40.
So let's start at the top. Has anyone ever fallen, that was my question to you, at any location at all, during the part of the illusion which is called the runaround, yes or no? To my knowledge, I have no recollection of anyone ever being injured. Question, I didn't ask you that. So let me ask you the question again, so that you and I are on the same page. Answer, thank you. Question. In any location at all that the illusion had been performed, any location to your knowledge, right? Because that's all I can ask you. Answer, yeah. Question, has anyone ever fallen during the runaround? Answer, not to my knowledge. Now, you did say that, did you not?
I did, but I meant to
And
my...
that was on the witness stand the last time I had an opportunity speak with you, and that was a week ago.
You're not trying to trick me?
I'm not trying to trick you.
Because it's the
at
same
all.
thing. It's about my recollection.
I understand that, and that's what I'm asking you about, is your recollection. I'm not asking you about anything else.
That's right.
And I'm going to be very clear. You notice I'm not going fast, not going staccato. I'm just asking you directly. Whatever your answer is, it is. Okay? Now, am I correct that today, when I asked you that question, you said, my recollection is no one's ever been injured? Okay? So let's follow up on that. Does that mean that today, as opposed to last week, you know that people have fallen? Is that your recollection now? If it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't.
Well, I saw you on TV.
You saw me on TV?
Recently, yes. You
How
look,
did I look?
you look really good.
Okay.
So,
Taller. I look tall.
you're very tall.
Okay.
And so I'm aware of what you said.
Okay, but I'm not even talking about that. You know, I'm talking about other than what you've heard from me in this case.
Right.
I'm just talking about your recollection
Right.
having nothing to do with what I've said in this case.
Right.
Right? Is your recollection independent of what I've said in the case that no one has ever fallen during the 13 illusion? Yes? No?
Not that I recall.
Okay. So that would also include, would it not, that you have no recollection of anyone ever falling and being injured? Because if you have no recollection of anyone ever falling, then you don't have any recollection of them falling and being injured. Fair enough?
You're correct.
Now, you haven't been in the court for the last week, but you did become aware, did you not, that the jury saw two different witnesses by videotape? Did you become aware of that?
I'm not clear how many.
Okay, but you became aware that there was at least one, if not more.
Correct.
Okay? And when you heard about that, did that refresh your recollection of the fact that there were people who had fallen and been injured? Did that refresh your recollection?
It did not.
Okay.
It did not.
So you still said, I don't remember any of that, correct?
I do not recall.
Okay, so now if a woman named Carolyn Anderson said that not only did she fall and get injured, but it was brought out to you and you spoke to her about it, that would refresh your recollection.
Objection, facts not in evidence.
Sustained.
Ask the court to inform the jury to disregard any implications from the question.
Join.
So ordered. Jury will disregard.
Now,
Don't try to trick me.
I'm not trying to trick you at all. That was a pretty direct question. And sooner or later, we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Objection, Your Honor, to comments by counsel.
Sustained. Jury will disregard.
Now, am I correct, Mr. Copperfield, that you've made these statements under oath in court?
100%.
We're just trying to get the truth out. Did you make that statement?
I don't know if those are the exact words.
Okay. Second statement, I'm trying to get the truth to the jury. Did you make that statement?
I really feel that way, yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to tell the truth. Did you make that statement?
I stand by that for sure.
Okay. Trying to just give you the truth. It's the truth. Did you make that statement?
100%.
Okay. So let's look at the statements that you made. And
We're still searching.
while we're searching for this, I just want the statements.
The ones that you just read.
Yeah. Yeah.
Page 39.
First one is 3914.
This is April 24th.
So you see my question, okay. You do understand, Mr. Copperfield, that the defendants in this case, not only you, but the other defendants are defending this case strenuously. You do know that, right? And your answer was not yes or no. We're just trying to get the truth out. And the "we're" was all of the defendants, not only you, correct? That's what you meant by that.
I'm not sure what I meant, but I meant that what I meant was this was during a time where I was being
Wait, let me read it to you again, so before you
it's about like this kind of thing.
give us a speech. Question. You do understand, Mr. Copperfield, that the defendants in this case, not only you, but the other defendants are defending this case strenuously. You do know that, right? We're just trying to get the truth out.
Correct.
And what you're saying is you're not sure right now whether you meant the defendants in general, you might have meant something else. Fair enough?
I meant, not a speech, I meant that I wasn't able to answer questions fully. When I said I'm trying to get the truth out is because I was being asked yes or no questions that would be misleading to what they should know.
Okay.
That's
and
what
I'm glad that you cleared out.
Thank you.
Cleared up something that I know you told us before. The "we're." I'm asking you about the "we're." I'm not asking you about, yourself. The "we're." What did you mean by the "we're"? Did you mean that all of the defendants, including yourself?
I'm not, quite frankly, I think it was a figure of speech.
Okay.
The general we.
Fair enough. Now, yeah, but in the meantime, am I correct, sir, that do you believe that because you personally have no recollection of anyone ever falling during the illusion, that means no one ever has? Just because you don't have any recollection, does that mean it's never happened?
That doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, things can happen that I'm unaware of.
Okay.
I would like to be told things. I want to know what's happening so I can improve things. But if somebody doesn't tell me, or if I don't know it, I can't sit here and say that,
Well, let's investigate that. Okay. Let's assume for a moment that not only did someone tell you, but actually one of the women who fell and was injured spoke to you about it. And you spoke to her. And still you have no recollection. Okay? So why don't we, let's see, I want the piece of the video from the beginning.
Jennifer.
Do you remember anything of the gal, of what she said, if anything, while Mr. Copperfield was
She
present?
took my name,
No.
my telephone number.
Oh, it's the telephone. It's the beginning.
Okay, and then what happened?
And then David came out,
Okay, when you say David, who David?
Mr. Copperfield came out, and he talked to me for a few minutes, and I don't remember what he said, but I remember saying to him that I was hoping that I hadn't messed up the illusion. And then the ambulances took me directly to the trauma center for the Northwest.
Okay, so let me just see if I'm clear. Were you still sitting outside the theater when Mr. Copperfield came over to you?
Yes, I was right outside of the street.
Okay, and was he there at the time that the ambulances arrived, do you know?
The ambulances were there, I don't, so I guess the answer to that question is, I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't know if they were there when they arrived, but they were there when he was there.
And did you were taken to the hospital?
I was taken to the trauma center.
The trauma center, okay. And what was their diagnosis made in terms of your injury?
Yes.
And what was that?
I don't remember the fancy diagnosis. You'd have to look on the nifty sheet.
You could give us the layperson.
My wrist was shattered, and I have a plate and 6 screws in my wrist. It's essentially, I'm considered disabled.
Okay. Do you still have the plate and screws in your wrist now?
Yes, they can't be taken out.
Okay.
The wrist would fall apart if I did.
Okay. After that day of the show, did Mr. Copperfield ever reach out to you at any point after that?
Yes.
And can you tell us when that was?
He reached out the next day.
Okay.
He called the next day.
Where did he call?
He called my home.
Okay.
Just stop it, right? Just stop it.
My mother.
Now, do you remember this woman?
No, I don't.
She says that you were standing there when she was leaning against the building with a shattered arm. Her wrist was shattered. And you'll hear later how it looked. And you spoke to her. And yet you don't remember that.
I don't remember it.
Okay.
Honestly.
And then she says that the next day she reached out, that you reached out and called her home. And yet you don't remember that.
I do not remember that at all.
Okay. Now, the
How many years ago is this?
this was in, what year was it? No, 2002.
Okay, so that's 16 years ago.
Okay.
Okay.
And so you don't have any recollection of 16 years ago, right? Okay. That's your answer, all right? But you would agree with me, Mr. Copperfield, if in fact what we've been talking about in this case, which is no one has ever been injured during this 13 illusion. Nobody. No one. That's the whole point of why it's so safe. That if in fact there was a person who you spoke to, who you called her home, that wouldn't be something that a normal person would forget, would it be? I mean, is that something that somebody would forget, something so unusual?
Well, I would say this. I would have, as she describes it, and the things that I've read that she describes about the injury, about what happened to her, what I would have seen, I would have remembered it.
Okay.
There's lots of facts.
So let me just ask you something about that. Seeing that you just said you would have remembered it. So, and I understand that, you know, you're trying to be very charming, but I'm trying to really just get your answers on the record.
Objection, Your Honor.
And your answers
Jury will disregard.
are very important to this case. Okay? So what you just said, can I translate that to mean that she's lying? That's what I want to know. You just said, if that really happened like that, I would remember it. Does that mean she's not credible, she's lying?
Objection, Your Honor, to the form.
That's what he said.
I'll allow it.
Does that mean she's lying? Just tell me yes or no.
That's not a yes or no question.
Okay. Nothing is yes or no. But I want to know, You just said you would have remembered that. So you
I can
meant
just-
something by that. Did you mean that she's not credible?
Well,
Just tell me whether you think she's credible or not.
I think her,
Judge, Your Honor, to form.
her recollection,
Hold on, overruled. Answer the question.
Do you, because you made a statement, that if in fact what she described happened, you would remember it, which means to me, and I want to know what it means to you,
Yeah.
that she's not telling the truth. Just tell me yes and no.
can't answer yes or no.
Okay,
There's a lot more detail.
yeah. So now, she was during the runaround. She gets injured. She's lying against the wall, and her wrist, her arm is obviously very damaged. And she says you're talking to her. You don't remember that?
I don't.
Okay.
Just for clarity of the record, Your Honor, I'm not sure it's been mentioned, this is Ms. Vasek.
Isak.
Isak, thank you.
Okay, let's play the next clip. Please.
Mother had heard him on the news earlier that morning. He had been talking about how no one had ever been hurt in any of the shows earlier that morning. So she was a little bit angry with him. And being an 80-year-old woman, she has a tendency of lecturing. So she decided to lecture him and then hang up on him, which I wasn't exactly thrilled about.
Okay. Now, there's another piece of information. She says that you called her house. Her mother lives with her. You spoke with her mom. Her mom was obviously, in the CSAT's opinion, rude to you, okay, and hung up on you. Do you remember that?
Absolutely not. And she also said about a morning show, which I didn't do a morning show.
Okay. You're going to have an opportunity when Ms. Fish gets up here. I'm sure we're going to hear all about it, that you were never on a morning show. And fine. Now, the important thing for us to understand is your recollection. Now, you would agree with me, would you not, that if someone had fallen during the illusion and was injured, both of those things, that that would be an important thing for you to know? Yes?
I'd want to know that, yes.
You want to know that?
I'd want to
Okay.
be told that, for
Okay.
sure.
And if in fact someone had fallen during the illusion and was injured, and you spoke to her, if in fact that happened, that would be important for you to recollect. Would you agree with that? Would it be important for you to recollect? Is this a difficult question?
Ask it again, please.
Sure. If in fact someone fell during the 13 illusion and they were injured and you spoke with her, wouldn't that be important for you to recollect?
I would remember it.
Yeah,
I would remember
you
it.
remember it. So the reason that you're not remembering it is because she's not telling the truth? This is my question. It's not complicated. Is she not telling the truth?
I don't recall
Okay.
what she said.
Okay. So if you don't recall, do we then follow that line of thinking that if you don't recall it, it didn't happen? Is that a fair statement?
I know.
If you don't recall it, it didn't happen. That's what I want to know.
I did. If somebody was injured like that, and I spoke to them, and it would look, I'm very squeamish, and if I saw that, I would remember it. I don't remember it,
Okay,
and I'd want to be told it.
right.
And
And so if you don't remember it, at least in your opinion, which is important to us, it probably didn't happen. Right? I mean, am I correct? I mean, you just told the jury just a couple of minutes ago, maybe not even a couple of minutes. I was not on a morning show that day. You remember the show that you're on.
because I looked at documents.
Okay, but did they show you this video? No. The document, that refreshed your recollection that you were never on a morning show.
It didn't.
This video that I'm showing you doesn't refresh your recollection that this woman was injured and you spoke to her.
It's just facts. The document shows what I actually did that morning, the next morning.
You're going to have a chance to talk about it. Believe me, I'm probably going to have to sit through it. So it's fun. All right?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Now, let's go to the next clip.
At some point, if you know, was a claim or some sort of notification sent to Mr. Copperfield with respect to the fact that you had been in this accident?
Oh, absolutely.
You don't remember that either? Okay. So,
16 years ago, right?
16 years ago. 16 years ago. Yes. Now, here's my next question. You, in fact, stated when you were here last that you always find the participants to be very excited after they participated. Fair statement?
I think generally speaking, yes.
Yeah. And that they really enjoyed themselves. Correct?
Majority, I think.
Yeah.
So.
And I think you also said, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we can look at the testimony, that if in fact you had gotten feedback from the participants that they didn't enjoy it, they weren't excited, and or they felt uncomfortable doing it, that you would stop doing the illusion. Is that correct? Did you say that?
May misstate is part of this one.
Give me the testimony.
The next page.
Okay.
Which day is this?
24. It's page 127. Question on line 18. You could see it there, I think.
Thank you.
Okay, during the time that you've gone into that back room and talked with them, meaning the participants, which we've already talked about in general, that you speak to them, do you recall any instances where any of the volunteers complained to you about their participation in the illusion? This isn't my question to you, by the way. Answer, no. No one has said, he made me run, or I'm too fast, or that was a bad experience. I wouldn't have continued doing the illusion if I got anything but excitement and positive feedback from them. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not misstated, right? That's exactly what you said from the record.
Yes, it did.
If in fact,
Objection, Your Honor.
I didn't finish my question.
Well, you didn't finish the answer that was on screen either.
Of course. Let him finish the answer and then pose the question.
I'll show him the whole thing. Okay, in that room is your answer. You want to go further?
No, that was it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Okay, now,
I didn't get to answer the question.
my question to you was, you had said in the past, as I just showed you, that if in fact you didn't get positive feedback, that people were excited, that they enjoyed themselves, that you would stop doing the illusion. That's what you said.
The meaning was I would modify it, I'd change it, I'd improve it.
Wait.
I would stop the illusion as is.
Okay.
I would stop the illusion as we did it.
Okay, you would, let's go with your answer, your answer today, okay? That you wouldn't stop the illusion, you would modify it. Okay, what part would you modify? Would you modify the runaround where people are running outside? Would you modify that? Just yes or no. I want to get to the
Not a yes or
bottom
no.
of what you would modify. Okay? Would you modify the runaround? Yes or no?
Not a yes or no question.
And simply hypothetical and lacks foundation.
Overruled.
I would, whatever I learned from a critique, I would consider.
Mr. Copperfield, you said that you would modify it, and I'm trying to
Explaining
find
how.
out if someone had fallen during the runaround, okay, and got injured, would that make you stop doing the illusion?
People fall on the way to church. People fall in marathons. People
Okay,
fall all
is
the
that
time.
answer no, you wouldn't stop doing it because that's not important enough? The excitement and the feedback is more important.
I think that's mischaracterizing what I mean.
Well,
honestly.
I don't think so.
We're not in the
I
business
think-
of hurting people here. We're
I
in the business
think
of
your
entertainment.
answer was that you would stop doing the illusion if you didn't get positive feedback. That's what you said. Today you said, I would modify it. And what I'm trying to find out is if in fact someone said to you, because you said that no one's ever said, I went too fast, or I had to run, or
Sure.
anything like that. No one's ever said that.
Okay.
Let's assume they did say that. They said, well, you know, I had to run too fast, or, you know, I was confused, or anything like that. Would you then modify the illusion
No one's
if
ever
they
s-
told you that?
I'll modify things that need to be fixed for safety first.
Mr. Copperfield, listen to me.
Yeah.
I'm asking you specific questions. You're going to have a chance to give whatever statements you want, within reason, when your lawyer asks you questions. Fair enough?
Ask the question
Okay?
again.
So all I want to know is if, in fact, there was someone who did say to you, I had to run too fast, or I was confused, or something like that, would that make you modify the 13 illusion? Yes or no?
You would make me ask them a question. Why was it too fast? Why did you
Good.
fall? Why did those things
And they
happen?
would
And I would
tell-
try to fix those things.
Okay, but you would have to fix them by either modifying the illusion, fair enough, or stopping doing it. Those are two choices that you have, right? So now you ask them a question, why was it too fast? And they give you an answer, whatever the heck the answer is. Okay, it was too fast because I thought I had to get there, and you would modify the illusion. Would you change the runaround? Yes or no?
Incomplete hypothetical.
Joy.
I don't know what that means, but one day you'll tell me. It's my question. I completed it.
Okay, I'll overrule it.
Can I have it read back, please?
Question, but you would have to fix them by either modifying the illusion, fair enough, or stopping doing it. Those are two choices that you have, right? So now you ask them a question, why was it too fast? And they give you an answer, whatever the heck the answer is, okay? It was too fast because I thought I had to get there, and you would modify the illusion. Would you change the runaround, yes or no?
Just yes or no. Would you change the runaround?
I can't
There were
answer.
two questions here, counsel.
Okay.
The first one was right, I think, and then you went on to another question.
Okay. I'm going to ask you one question, very simply. A participant in the back room complains to you that the runaround portion of the illusion was too confusing. Would you modify the illusion, that part? Yes or no? Would you modify it?
I would consider it.
Okay,
Consider it.
okay,
I want people to be
I understand.
happy and healthy here.
okay. You would consider modifying it. Now, last week, you said that if you didn't get positive feedback, you would stop doing it, right? You would stop doing it. That's what you said.
Stop doing it like that.
Okay, so that's a modification, right? If you stop doing something one way, you're modifying it and doing it a different way. So, what I'm saying is, let's assume for a moment that you did recollect somebody falling and being injured. Let's assume you did. And this is as complete as my hypothetical is ever going to be. Okay? Let's assume that you did recollect someone being injured during the 13 illusion, whether it's 2002, 2004, 2013, 2010. Whatever date it is, doesn't matter. Would that make you modify the illusion? Yes or no?
Objection, incomplete hypothetical as to what caused the person to fall. There's not enough facts to respond to that question.
Objections noted and overruled.
Do you need the question read back, Mr. Copperfield?
It's not a yes or no. There's more to it. I have to answer it. Yeah, sorry. Do your thing, sir.
It's okay. Do you want the question read back, was my question.
I have, my answer is it's not a yes or no.
No, okay. But do you remember the question?
Enough to answer it's not a yes or no.
Okay. So now that you answered it's not a yes or no, I want to hear your answer. Right now. Tell it to me.
If I knew of somebody getting hurt, I would find out why it happened. Explore how to make it never, ever, ever happen again. Sometimes people fall and get hurt, and it's not our fault. You know,
Has that happened in the past, that people had fallen and gotten hurt, and you decided it wasn't your fault?
Which I've answered that many times. I have no recollection of anybody getting injured during this illusion. And
So here's my next question, now that you've cleared it up. If, in fact, someone fell and got injured, and you did an investigation, okay? You asked questions, you found out, and you determined, in your opinion, just yours, that it wasn't your fault, you would continue to do the illusion the same way, right? I mean, once you determine it's not your fault, you don't think you have to make any changes. Fair enough?
Objection, compound.
Compound.
My question's too long, Judge,
Okay, rephrase.
so I gotta shorten it up a little. If you found out that someone had fallen and been injured, and you did whatever personal investigation you did, and you came to a determination that it wasn't your fault. You would not change anything. Is that fair enough?
It's not fair because it doesn't matter if it's my fault or not. If I had a marathon and people running the marathon, somebody fell.
Mr. Copperfield, let's not get into marathons, okay?
Let him finish his answer. Okay? Let him finish his answer.
I think this is cross-examination, Your Honor.
Well, he's providing an answer and you've interrupted it. Just let him finish the answer and ask the next question after that. Go ahead.
Marathon.
If I was the head of a marathon and people fell during the marathon, I would investigate if there was obstacles in the way, any problems. Whether it was my fault or not, the marathon would still go on as long as there was nothing we could make better happen. You know, people are going to have accidents, and that sucks. You know, really, it sucks. But the show will go on if we've tried to improve every possible thing that could cause another problem. That's my answer.
If you determined that it wasn't your fault, would you then determine whether or not it was someone else's fault? Is that what you're saying? Would you try to figure out if it was someone else's fault?
If it was...
Just yes or no, would you try to determine
not a
if
yes
it was
or
someone
no.
else's
Sorry, I
fault?
apologize. Not a yes or no.
Is anything a yes or no? Just let me just ask you this, because this is a yes or no.
I like you, yes.
This is a yes or no. Is anything a yes or no? That's a yes or no, too.
Objection argumentative.
I'm not arguing. I'm just asking.
Just ask the question.
Is anything a yes or no?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay. So, my question is that you would determine whether or not it was your fault, and then you would go further and determine if it was anyone else's fault.
The cause in general.
The cause.
A cause.
The cause in general.
To fix the
now,
cause.
Do you have, in your mind, there are times, am I correct, that accidents just happen? They just happen.
Unfortunately.
And it's no one's fault. Is that one of your opinions?
We all make mistakes, and we all trip, and we all fall, yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So let me ask you this then. It could be possible, in your opinion, that this woman who I've been showing you on the videotape, it was her fault. Is that one of your explanations today?
I would put it that way.
I know you wouldn't.
I don't know
but
the
I
details.
am. I am putting it that way. And it's my question.
What's your question?
You see, my question is whether or not you believe that this particular woman who had a wrist going backwards, that it was her fault, and therefore that could exonerate you even if you remembered it.
I don't have the facts. I don't know.
Okay, but it's possible that it could be her fault in your mind.
It's possible.
Join.
It could have been we don't know the cause of this.
Okay.
I don't
So
know.
what you're saying is that it could be her fault. And that's my only question.
I didn't say that. It could be her fault. I said we don't know.
Is it, well, you said you don't know the cause. Is that one of the possibilities, that it's her fault?
There's many, many possibilities.
Is that one of them?
One of them, and
Yes.
be crazy possibilities.
So that's a yes. That's one of the possibilities, that it's her fault.
I would never say that about somebody.
I know you don't want to say it, but I'm asking you the question. And I want to know whether or not in your mind, one of the possibilities for that woman falling during the runaround and getting injured and going to the trauma center is it might have been her fault. Might have been.
I have no idea.
You don't have an idea.
I don't want to say that about
because
this
you
is a very
have no
nice lady.
recollection of it. But is it possible in your mind that it's her fault? And I want an answer to this question, Mr. Copperfield.
I know you do.
I know, and I'm going to keep asking
It's a beautiful lady, went to my show, seems to be speaking from her heart, right? So,
Okay, that's all good.
I don't, some of her recollection we'll talk about later, but from my standpoint, I don't want to say that about her. She seems really nice.
I understand, but in your mind, She's so nice. She's speaking from her heart, but she could have caused her own accident. Is that what you're saying? Why don't we just say it?
I see what you're trying to do, and
I'm not trying to do anything. I'm trying
She's
to
a
get
nice
an answer
lady.
from
This lady
you.
got.
Do you think it's possible that it's her fault? That's all I want to know.
Anything, I'll give you what you want. Anything's possible.
Okay, good. So it's possible that it's her fault in your mind.
And anything's possible amid a million other possibilities.
Now, now,
16 years ago is a long time.
were you talking to me? Were you talking to me? Is my question.
That's a good De Niro impression, by the way.
Sorry?
Nothing.
Do you know who Amy Lawrence is?
No.
Did you know that Amy Lawrence testified by videotape in this courtroom that she was injured during the 13 illusion in June of 2013?
I think I saw you on TV talk about it. I've never seen her or the testimony.
Okay. I don't think I've ever spoken about Amy Lawrence on television, and if I did, I would never have mentioned the name.
Okay.
Okay? But you don't know who she is.
I don't recall her.
Okay. You don't recall her. Now, when you were you told when you weren't in the courtroom, when you finally came back or spoke to your attorneys, were you told that she had testified?
Well, the objection kind of starts going to privilege.
Sustained.
Did you learn in any way at all, whether on television, through the newspapers, whatever it was, that there was another woman who testified that she was injured in the 13 illusion in June of 2013?
I don't know any details, but I heard you talk about a second person on TV.
Okay. Now, did that at all, refresh your recollection of someone being injured during the 13 illusion?
It did not.
Okay.
And my understanding is she didn't alert, no one alerted me about that one.
Okay, but your understanding is that the first person I showed you, she did alert you about it, and actually you were there, and then you called her house. Correct?
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what
I
she said. But
I
she
certainly
could
don't
be-
recall.
But it could be that she's not telling the truth, isn't that true?
You keep doing this to me, and I don't want
I just want to know what your opinions are. I'm entitled to know what you're thinking, okay? And what you're thinking is that she could be lying. Is that one of the choices? She could be lying.
I will not call her a liar.
Okay, she could be not telling the truth. That's a nicer way to say someone's lying.
I wouldn't say that either. I think
Okay.
her recollection might be different.
Her
It's
recollection...
16 years ago.
Right. So she could have a recollection, so that we understand each other. She could have a recollection that she was in the illusion, okay? That she was during the runaround, that she got injured. Her recollection of going to the trauma center is probably fuzzy. And she had surgeries. She has a plate in her arm. She spoke to you. You called her house. And her recollection is faulty. Do you think that's possible with all of those things, that all of those things she has a faulty recollection about?
Objection to asking him to testify to the credibility of another witness. Improper opinion.
Show me the next. Clip.
Sustained.
No, I know. I know. I'm sorry.
ESAC?
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Back, the next
That's what
ESAC.
I don't know. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Just to follow up on that, if Mr. Copperfield came into this court and told the jury that in the history of this trick, from 1998 forward, nobody had been injured, would that be true?
No, because I was injured in 2002.
Go further. I want to get
Now, at the time that I just want to go back for a second. At the time that you were, after you had fallen and you were outside the theater, did you remain on the ground the whole time until the ambulance came, or something
Yes,
else?
I did.
And were you in pain during that period of time?
Oh, absolutely. I was going to shock.
Okay, and did you have any deformity at all in your wrist?
Absolutely.
Can you describe that for us?
You wouldn't recognize my arm as an arm at that point in time.
Okay, so it was noticeable just by looking without the need of like an x-ray or anything. It was noticeable that there was something wrong.
It was, my hand was back here.
Okay, so indicating that your hand was literally facing in the wrong direction.
It was in the hand, and it was in the wrong direction. It was, I mean, it looked like some kind of weird Halloween thing.
Were you crying at all?
I wasn't crying, but I was like cringing more than anything else. I was trying desperately not to throw up.
Okay, and when you were in that position, sitting on the ground with your wrist facing the opposite direction in that shock, is that when Mr. Copperfield came over to you the first time?
Yes.
Okay. So he would have been there to see the condition of your wrist and the condition of you?
Yes.
Does that help you all refresh your recollection?
It helps one thing. I am so squeamish about stuff that if I saw that in reality, I would be really affected by it.
Okay, I understand that. This
is a beautiful, beautiful lady. She's
take-
intelligent. She's speaking from her heart. I don't recall this at all.
Okay. All right. So she was. There's only a couple of choices here. Okay. And let's take them. She's a beautiful lady. She's speaking from her heart. You don't want to call her a liar. You think her memory might be faulty. Okay.
On certain facts.
Certain facts.
Which we'll get to.
That are faulty. And is it true that you believe that it didn't happen?
No. I'm not saying that at all.
Okay. You're saying that it happened, but she never spoke to you. Is that fair?
I'm saying that I don't recall
I
something
know.
that would be very, very shocking to me.
I know.
Very, very moving to me.
I understand. So
I don't recall that at all. And so I think
But
I have
if
no
she-
reason to doubt this part of what she's saying at all. This is, but I also don't know the cause of this. What caused this?
Okay, so we already investigated that, you and I, we talked about it, that one of your possible opinions is that she caused her own accident.
I didn't
and
say
she's
that.
at fault. Well, that's what you just said.
I did not say that.
Could you read back his last answer to me? Your Honor, can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let's hear the last answer, so we understand what you're saying here.
answer, I don't recall that at all, and I think I have no reason to doubt this part of what she's saying at all. This is, but I also don't know the cause of this, what caused this.
Now, obviously, you mentioned the word cause twice. It wasn't in response to anything that I said. So I want to know exactly what you meant. Now you got a chance to say whatever you want. What did you mean by you don't know what the cause is? Let's hear.
I
Let's hear. It's not a yes or no. What'd you mean?
I have no recollection of this.
I believe that. You said that.
Right. And I don't know what happened. So I can't really comment any further about that. I have no
Well, you said you don't know what the cause is. And all I'm asking now is for you, it's not a yes or no, I want you to explain to this jury, because you're the one who wants to get the truth out. I want you to explain to this jury what you just meant by saying, I don't know what the cause is. Tell them.
Asked and answered. He just responded.
Well, I'll,
Tell us.
What was my
I
answer
think he was
before?
interrupted during his answer, so go ahead and get an answer.
Can I hear the answer that I gave, please?
The original
Yeah, but no, the one that I just answered.
Answer, I have no recollection of this. Continued on. All right, and I don't know what happened, so I really can't comment any further about that.
That's my answer.
And what my question is what do you mean by, I don't know what the cause is? That's what I want to understand, because you said it, and please explain to the jury what you meant.
Same
Asked
answer.
and answered.
Same answer, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't
My
recall.
specific question is not that you know anything about what happened, because you've been pretty clear that you have no recollection no matter what, okay? My question is, you just said, I don't know what the cause is, and I want to know what you meant by that statement of you don't know what the cause is. Tell the jury what you meant.
It's the same answer. I don't have any knowledge of this. I don't know the background of it. I don't know anything about it, so I can't really respond to it.
But when somebody uses the word cause, it means to me that there's a number of possibilities. Is that fair? If someone says, I don't know what the cause is, means that there's more than one possibility. Is that a fair statement?
I object to this, Your Honor. The court's prior ruling is that the causation of her accident was irrelevant because no substantial similarity.
I would disagree with that.
You can
That
ask
that'd
what
be
he
a
meant
court
by
ruling, Your Honor.
his answer to a question.
When I said the word cause, I'm not a lawyer, obviously, and I don't know this story, so I can't really comment on it. I don't know any background.
I'm not asking you to comment on what happened. I'm not asking you any more, because I've asked you a number of times about whether or not you think she's a liar, okay?
And I said...
That's not my question.
And I didn't
My question is, you use the word, I don't know what the cause is. And all I want you to do is to tell this jury, this is your opportunity to say in your own words, it's not a yes or no, what did you mean by what the cause is?
Objection, lacks foundation, calls for speculation.
Overruled, you can state what he meant by use of the term.
I don't want to speculate. I don't know why I use that word, and I apologize for using that word. It's just
Okay. Now, you know that, I don't know if the jury needs a break, Your Honor, so I don't want to keep going unless.
Well, we're going to recess at noon. Can you make it till noon?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I can.
Yes. Anybody want to recess? Can't make it
Okay,
till noon?
well, good. So, you know that Mr. Cox, who's in the courtroom, participated in the 13 illusion in November 2013. You know that, correct?
Yeah, that's the date.
Yeah, it was in November 2013. Not trying to trick you on anything, but you know that he was a participant,
Yeah.
okay?
Yes.
And that he, during the runaround portion as a participant, he fell and was injured. You know that, right?
That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, so you know that. And do you have an opinion as to whether or not Mr. Cox caused his own accident? That's what I want to know. What's your opinion about this? Let's get to the bottom of it.
I think accidents happen.
I understand that you think that. We covered that. They just happen. No one's to blame.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, right. No one's to blame. Did Mr. Cox, in your opinion, I only care about what you think, did he cause his own accident?
Objection, foundation, speculation. You didn't see the accident happen.
You can answer the question.
Accidents happen, to
You
everybody.
said that, and I'm going to keep asking you the question, and I want to know whether or not you believe that Mr. Cox caused his own accident.
Everyone trips. I've done it. You've done it.
Is that a yes?
I've tripped. Everyone's tripped. It's not my fault that I trip, but we make mistakes.
Mr. Copperfield, if in fact someone makes a mistake, it is their fault, as a matter of fact.
Well,
Don't you think that?
I wouldn't categorize it as a fault.
Okay.
I mean, it's my fault when I trip, and I've tripped quite a bit in my life. It's not my fault. It's just something that happens in life.
Okay. It's just, it's just serendipitous. Right? So here's my question. Do you have an opinion that Mr. Cox caused his own accident? That's what I want to know.
Objection, asked and answered.
I don't think so, but if we could read it back and we could debate whether he answered it. Could you read it back for the witness, please?
Question, okay, it's just serendipitous, right? So here's my question. Do you have an opinion that Mr. Cox caused his own accidents? That's what I want to know.
Objection calls in the province of the jury.
You can state his understanding.
I hate the word cause.
Okay? So
I think
why don't
things
you
just
use
happen.
a different word? Do you blame him?
Again, I hate the word blame too.
Okay, well, you don't like a lot of words that I use, it seems.
I
But
don't.
what I'm trying to find out is if you believe that Mr. Cox is responsible. Now, the last time I used that word, someone said it was a legal term, responsible. Never heard that, okay? So now I'm using cause, I'm using blame, I'm trying my best to find out what your opinion is about the Cox case. Did he cause his own accident, in your opinion?
Objection, improper opinion from a lay witness.
You can rephrase by using the word understanding.
Okay. Mr. Copperfield, is it your understanding that Mr. Cox is at fault for his own accident?
I can't. I don't use the word fault. Accidents happen. People fall down every day.
Okay, so it just happened.
I don't want to blame. I'm not going to blame somebody.
So it's
for
not
that.
his fault,
No.
correct?
Well, I didn't say that. What I've said was, accidents happen.
I want to know what your opinion is.
That's my opinion.
Your opinion is that an accident just happened, and it isn't his fault, and it isn't your fault. Am I correct?
Same
It
objection or
isn't
opinion.
your fault.
I'll allow it.
I'm asking you directly now. You can.
Is it my fault?
I want to know whether when Mr. Cox fell that night during the illusion, November 12th, 2013, you say you're not going to blame him. Am I correct about that, by the way? You're not going to blame him.
I'd say accidents happen.
Accidents happen. I keep hearing that. But I want to know, do you blame him at all for his accident? It was his fault.
I wasn't there.
Okay.
I wasn't.
You weren't there. Okay, but you know about it now. Okay. Now, after you found out about this accident and that Mr. Cox was injured, you found out. You told us the last time. You found out much later. Much later.
Yeah.
Much later. And that he went to the hospital. Did you find that out too?
A year later.
Okay. All right. I said much later. You testified last week it was a year later. I have no dispute with that. You found out a year later. Did you find out when you found out a year later they had gone to the hospital?
I don't recall the details of what I found.
Okay. But you found out that he was injured during the illusion. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, there came a time, did there not, that you stopped doing this 13 illusion.
That's right.
Isn't that correct?
Correct.
And you stopped doing it, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was 2014.
I think it was 2 years afterwards, I believe.
Okay? Can you find that testimony? Somebody stop doing it, please. Now, your memory isn't that it was 2014? That it was 2 years after? If it is, it is.
I don't, as I said before, dates and names are not my strong suit.
Okay, but
you can find the facts out.
It's a little difficult to be in a lawsuit and not talk about dates and names. All right, so I apologize.
Check the calendars and you'll get the facts.
I have to ask you about
No
it.
problem.
Now, is it your testimony that you stopped doing the 13 illusion a year after you found out that Mr. Cox was injured? Right? I mean, I'm just doing simple math.
I don't think that's right.
Well, you stated that you stopped doing it 2 years later, correct? You stopped doing it 2 years later.
I'm not sure about it, honestly. I'm not
Well,
sure about
let's
that.
assume that you're right, okay?
I hate to assume.
You stopped doing it 2 years later. You found out that Mr. Cox was injured 1 year later. So by deduction, you stopped doing it a year after you found out that Mr. Cox was injured.
I'm not sure. I don't recall.
Okay.
But I will say that when the lawsuit began, we continued to do the illusion
Oh, I know that.
after that.
That's why I'm talking to you.
Good, perfect.
Okay.
Trying to be helpful.
I understand. And as a matter of fact, you found out that he was injured during the illusion, and you didn't make any modifications to it, did you?
Objection to post-accident conduct, Your Honor, irrelevant.
You stated, did you not, that if you found out anything, like mistakes were made, or there were any problems, that you would make a modification to the 13 illusion. Is that
Absolutely.
correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay. And all I'm asking you is whether or not you ever, during the entire time of the 13 illusion, and I believe it started in 1998. Is that fair?
Check the calendar. You know, that's not my strong suit.
Okay. Well, I think that the entire time. Let me ask you this question: do you know that the entire time during this trial we've been talking about the fact, not me personally, but there's been talk in this case that you've been doing this illusion for 20 years. Is that a fair statement?
I think it's less than 20 years.
Okay.
I'm not sure, again.
All right. I believe you started doing it in 1998, but it's possible that you started doing it in the year 2000? Is that what you said?
I don't know.
Okay. But we've been hearing that you've been doing this illusion for a long time,
Yes.
15 to 20 years, let's say,
Yes.
and no one's ever fallen and been injured. That's what we heard. You knew that, right? You knew that that was what was told to the jury in this case?
Well, I didn't say that. I said to my best recollection,
I
to
understand.
my knowledge.
And so you would agree with me that if your recollection is incorrect, then people may have fallen and been injured if your recollection is incorrect. Is that a possibility now?
I'm confused. Please.
Okay.
ask it simply.
I'll rephrase it. You would agree with me that just because you don't remember or recollect that something happened doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Trees can fall in the woods. If you don't hear them, they still fall. It's true. I mean,
You're a philosopher. So you're not saying to this jury that no one's ever fallen and been injured during your illusion. What you're saying is, I don't know of anyone. Is that correct? Is that a correct statement?
that's the best I could do, is to express what I know. You know.
So that is a correct statement, that you're not saying it's never happened, you're saying you don't know. Fair enough?
I wouldn't say it quite like that.
Well, I know you wouldn't, but I did.
Then I can't agree.
So my question is that you were making a statement to the jury about this illusion that you don't recall or you don't know of anyone who's ever fallen and been injured. Fair enough?
Well, back when we began this trial,
Mm-hmm.
at that moment in time, I knew of one person because of a lawsuit.
And that was Mr. Cox.
Mr. Cox.
I understand. And now you know of two others. And what my question is that you're not saying to the jury that no one's ever fallen and been injured during the illusion. What you're saying is you don't know if anyone has ever fallen.
I said I don't recall. I said I don't recall.
Isn't that the same as not knowing?
Well, whenever I say knowing, it's me recalling, and knowing is in the same category.
Right.
Like non-legal, you know.
And that's okay. This isn't a legal term, recall and know. It's what people say to each other.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying to you is, you don't know, right? You don't know.
I would want to know. You know, as I sit here today, I would hope my staff would tell me if somebody fell, because I'd want to see if I can improve it, you know, or if it's anybody's, we can make it better, have it less of a chance that that could ever happen again. And but no, I don't know. I don't recall.
Okay? But there came a time, did there not, when you learned that Mr. Cox had fallen and been injured, no matter when it was. You did find that out, did you not?
I did.
Yeah. And then, did you do any investigation to find out why it happened? You personally, did you?
Yes.
Okay.
At every show.
Did you, well, here's what I'm trying to find out. You found out that Mr. Cox was injured during the 13 illusion,
Yes.
November 12th, 2013. Okay? And you did an investigation after you found that out. Is that true?
I'll explain my investigation. I do it every show.
Your Honor, we're spacing into attorney-client privilege because Mr. Copperfield did not find out until after the lawsuit was
Are we
filed.
approaching the bench or are you giving speeches?
So what's the objection?
Objection privilege.
As to what he personally did?
Well, if it's, I guess maybe we need to approach. I mean,
I'll overrule the objection as to what he personally did.
That's all I'm asking. I didn't ask him anything about lawyers or talking to them,
Just ask the
anything
question.
like that. All I want to know.
Your Honor, may we approach? Please.
All right.
Your Honor, I think I need the last question read back, if I may.
Question, did you, well, here's what I'm trying to find out. You find out that Mr. Cox was injured during the 13 illusion, answer yes. Question, November 12th, 2013, okay. And you did an investigation after you found that out. Is that true? Answer, I will explain my investigation.
Okay, what did you do?
Okay, I'd like you to rephrase the question, take out the word investigation.
Sure, absolutely. I'm going to start a new question. And that question is, you told us earlier that if you found out something about the illusion that you thought should be modified, correct? That you would do that. Fair enough? That you would do that.
Yes.
Did you look into anything with reference to modifying the 13 illusion after you found out that Mr. Cox had been injured? Did you look into it and modify anything?
Every show.
I understand you keep saying every show, but I want to know whether or not, with reference to this, you looked into it and made any modification. You did? If you did, tell us what it is.
I looked into it.
Okay.
I did.
When did you look into it?
Every show.
No, listen. I want to know whether or not you did anything specifically because you learned that someone had been injured during the runaround. That's what I want to know. Did you do anything specifically due to that?
I personally...
Yes or no? Did you?
It's not a yes or no question.
Let him answer the question, Chelsea.
I'm going to let him answer. Tell us.
When I heard about the lawsuit, during that show, as soon as I did the other illusion that I watched carefully, I walked and made sure there was absolutely no obstruction, lip in the concrete. You know, when I was a kid, I broke my first 2 front teeth because in the mall there was a concrete and there was a lip there, and I fell. I didn't sue, but anyway, I broke my front teeth because there was a lip there. I checked for lips, checked for obstructions. Was there a tree that fell down? Nothing. So I just looked more carefully than I do, which I look carefully anyway. I want to do first. I want to experience what the audience experiences before they have to do it themselves, like I do every night. That's what I did. I looked just even more carefully to see if there was anything there. And there wasn't, and there was no change.
All right, let's recess for lunch now. During the recess, and we're going to recess until 1:15, as I recall. That was because I think we're going to be shorter today, right?
Right.
Right.
So I think we...